Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or visit metrokiaofmadison.com. The biggest moments.
One man to beat up the right sideline.
See ya, baby.
99-yard touchdown run.
The biggest games.
Back-to-back state championships.
The biggest stories from area high school sports. This is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. Alongside the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semro, here's Hunter Vaughn.
We now have our 10 state champions in basketball. The 5 girls state champions were crowned 2 weeks ago up in Green Bay, and then this past weekend, the boys state tournament took place at the Kohl Center. We'll break down all 5 of the boys state championship games that, again, we had this past weekend here in Madison. And we had 2 area teams on the girls' side playing on Championship Saturday. So we will talk about those games coming up as well. Plus, we're going to have our biggest storylines coming out of the Kohl Center after the boys state tournament. But this is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. Zimbrick Honda has been a part of the Madison community since 1973. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations. One on Fish Hatchery Road and the other on Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? At Zimbrick Honda, buy 3 tires and get the 4th for how much, Dennis?
$1.
That's right, just $1. Shop local, shop Zimbrick Honda. So Dennis, we had our 5 state champions this past weekend at the Kohl Center, and overall, I think we had an awesome state tournament. The attendance was great. It was some of the best. I know Travis Wilson over at Bound tracks the attendance each day, and it was one of the best days of attendance that they've had. It's the best since the pandemic and one of the better ones in the last decade for the Kohl Center. But overall, an awesome weekend of basketball here in Madison.
Yeah, and the weather was great on Saturday.
Yep.
70 degrees, and we're all, I'd say stuck in the Kohl Center, but I didn't even notice that it was like, okay, we got there at 8 o'clock in the morning and got out of there about 11 o'clock at night, and it just blew right by.
Yeah, it always goes so fast. The build up to it, it feels like it takes forever to get from sectional Saturday to that first Thursday of semifinal games. But then as soon as those Division III games tip off on Thursday, that entire weekend just flies by, and all of a sudden we're wrapping up the Division I championship, and it's like, wait, where did these last 3 days go? We're going to recap all 5 of the boys state championship games. We'll go in order from Division 5 up to Division 1. In Division 5, Reedsville won 56-48 over Southwestern. This is the first title for Reedsville since 1946. And this was a really good back and forth game for a good chunk of that. And then Reedsville kind of pulled away late in this one.
Yeah, this is when you get to D5, a lot of times it kind of ease your way into the day. It's a slower. The pace of this game, though, was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like it was a Division 2 or 3 game. Both teams really fast. We got to watch Ben Prochnow for Reedsville. It was just incredible.
Yeah.
During this tournament. He had 19 points, 8 assists, and they had 13 nothing on points in transition. So they were really pushing the ball. And the Wildcats, on the other hand, they had 3 players in double figures. So it was one of these where, okay, who's going to pull this one out at the end? Are we going to get a last-second shot? You always say, are we going to get that buzzer beater or whatever? No, it didn't. I ended up with an 8-point one, but Reedsville was one of the top-seeded teams to make it. 4 of them made it to the finals.
Yep.
And for the top seed to win over the 3rd seed, so it showed that I think they knew what they were doing. The 3 beat the 2, 1 beat the 4, and then 1 beat the 3.
Yeah, and that game, we look at this Division 5 game between Reedsville and Southwestern, and one of the big things that stuck out when you look at the stats on it was the fact that Reedsville 11 of 15 from the free throw line compared to Southwestern 1 for 3. Reedsville was just constantly attacking, and then the game got late, and you had some fouls there that pushed that number up.
And having watched the semifinal, I remember talking to the coach saying, you guys really attacked the rim well. And I think that bodes well for championship Saturday, and it did.
It definitely does. As we're recapping all 5 of the state championship games for boys basketball that took place this past weekend here in Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. In Division 4, Milwaukee Juneau getting a 62-54 win over Cambridge. Cambridge had the lead at the half in this one, but then Milwaukee Juneau took over and ended up winning the first state title for a Milwaukee public school in 22 years.
That's hard to believe when you think of the dominant teams. Rufus King over the years, Milwaukee, Washington. I go back to the Milwaukee and Lincoln days, but then you had the Vincent days with Coach Diener. They were just phenomenal. And brought a few memories back there. The old pull the air out of the ball and kind of sit there for 2 minutes. And I was on the stat crew for that one. We're going, okay, that's fine. Less to print out.
Yep.
We're just keep this game moving. You want to keep everything on schedule for one, and you just like fast-moving games versus the whistle 5 seconds foul turnover. We get some of those at state where let them play. Jeez, but in this game, you just held it, and whether. For you as a shot clock, there's your proof. Hey, do we need a shot clock at state?
Yep. So for those that don't know and didn't see this game or listen to our broadcast of it, Milwaukee Juneau, with about 9 minutes left in the game, they were only up by 2, but they had a possession that lasted for 2 minutes and 35 seconds of game action. And I mean, this wasn't just they were trying to run their offense and it just took that long to get a good shot. They stood at the motion W at midcourt for stretches of it and just held the ball on their waist. So that got a lot of traction. I've seen it on social media. This game is bringing a lot more attention than there already was to the shot clock. That's something we're going to talk about a little bit later on when we talk about our biggest storylines from the state tournament. But I don't want that to take away from Dooney Johnson, the Gonzaga commit, putting up 23 points, 7 rebounds, 4 blocks in this game. He was incredible. He showed and looked exactly like a high-level Division I player in this game, which isn't something we see from these D4 teams all the time, and he was incredible. So I don't want the shot clock stuff to take away from the fact that Dooney Johnson, along with then winning that championship with his dad as the head coach, and a Milwaukee public school winning their first title in 22 years. There's too many good storylines from this game for it to be remembered as the non-shot clock game.
Well, how about the halftime performance? They brought a drum line out.
Yep.
That was so cool. It was like, yes.
And one of the players for Milwaukee Juneau was on the drum line, and instead of going into the locker room, he got his snare drum on, and he was out there at midcourt performing in the halftime of a state championship game. He was playing it.
I think they had a minute before they had to go on the floor to, okay, catch me up. What I missed at halftime. Mm-hmm. So if they got yelled at, he didn't have to worry about that because he was doing his other duty. Double duty. You talk about multiple sport athletes. Well, here's a multiple talented individual, and that was pretty cool.
It definitely was. Again, Milwaukee Juneau winning the first Milwaukee public school state championship with a 62-54 win over Cambridge. That was their first title in 22 years. On to Division III, Racine St. Catherine's with a 20-point win over Seymour, 61-41 in Division III. St. Catherine's forced 26 turnovers in this game, Dennis.
That's incredible. You look at it was just relentless defense. I mean, when you get to state, one of the reasons is taking care of the basketball. But then, there were a number of games where in Division I, our games were relatively 4 and 5 turnovers throughout the game, very well played. But that says something about the defense. When they forced 32 turnovers in the 2 games, St. Kate's did, and they were just relentless and not out of energy either. I mean, you got 36 minutes. Sometimes you got to pick your poison or pick your place, but it was every time. I mean, every trip down. I'm looking at what the St. Croix, what Seymour did to St. Croix. That was a 20-point game. They looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And who did they knock off to get to state?
Freedom.
Right.
Yep.
So you're going now. They were 1 and Freedom was 2, and then you beat that, and then to go to the state championship game and get beat by 20 points, you're going. That shows how dominant St. Kate's was.
Yeah, and I think this was also a game, we talked in the Division 4 about some of the calls for the shot clock getting louder because of that long possession for Milwaukee Juneau. This was a scenario where the fact that Seymour was playing at State and Freedom wasn't there, all through the regular season, those were the two best teams in Division 3. So I saw a lot of people after this game, and I kind of agree with them. The idea of maybe instead of having predetermined sectionals at the beginning of the year, you wait until the end of the year, and like the NCAA tournament, you separate your 4 best teams. So that might necessarily mean then, like, on the Division 1 side, you would have seen a West Allis Central maybe getting a 1 seed being pulled away. Memorial would have been a 2 seed instead of the 1 seed in their sectional. But then you get the 4 best teams potentially then having that path to go to the Kohl Center. And sometimes that might mean 2 teams from the Fox Valley or 3 teams from the Milwaukee area, because if that's the best part of the state, you should have it represented the proper way.
Unfortunately, that's not what the WIAA philosophy has been. It's been called representation. But you take a look at the map that they have on there where all the teams are from, and it was pretty heavy southeast Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin for the boys and girls tournaments. And that's where a lot of the schools are.
Yeah, and like this is the more populated part of the state. So it makes sense for that to be the case. I would rather see the best basketball. Seymour was deserving of getting to state. I'm not saying anybody wasn't deserving. It's really difficult to win that regional round, then the sectional rounds, and to make it to the Kohl Center. But it would have been great to see Donovan Davis out there on the floor. Racine St. Catherine's, though, an awesome performance for them. Lamont Hamilton, if he wanted to, he could play Division I basketball. He's going to go play wide receiver for Minnesota and PJ Fleck and row the boat up in the Twin Cities.
You see him when he walked out on the court. He's a small guy.
Yeah, he doesn't play small.
But what about that vertical? And then, and we have to have a shout out to our L-Cats, to Lake Mills,
yes,
who lost to St. Kate's in the semis. Brady Benish just had an outstanding career. I was on a scores table, and literally he had some threes that were past where I was sitting, which was pretty close to half court.
Yep,
and
they were NBA threes.
Right at the end. I mean, he was trying to get him back in the game. He buried 8 of 16. He had 26 points. He had a step back that was just incredible with Phillips, I think one of the players for St. Kate's, right in his face, and it was like he didn't blink. And then the respect is like, oh my God, he made that shot.
Yep.
What can I do? Sometimes you have to give credit to the other side.
Yep.
It's not it's great defense or it's great offense. And Benish had a great career. And we got to see Tyler Rowling will be back next year, and I'm sure that group they love the threes, and that's what kept them, I think, in that game.
Yep.
Being able to make trade threes for twos, and even though they had the turnovers, they really hung in there. And I thought this was a game where the refs really let St. Kate's play, and Lake Mills they were tough with the basketball, but that wears on you after a while, and they were looking to get some calls that they might have gotten during the regular season. And we talked about this, I think, before with the girls and coming into the tournament. You have to see how the referees are from all over the state, and you get your games called one way during the season, then they're called a different way. Well, it's up to you to adjust to the refs. They're not going to adjust to you.
Yep.
They're going to call what they want to call, and they're used to calling maybe certain points of emphasis. Every year that WI has a point of emphasis, something to keep an eye on. So, but the physicality of that game was definitely in the favor of St. Kate's.
Yep, and again, St. Kate's winning their 7th state championship now in school history. So we're recapping the division, or all 5 of the state championship games. We're on to Division 2, where it was a rematch, the 3rd game between North Shore Conference rivals Whitefish Bay and Slinger. Dennis, you and I thought all year long Slinger was the team to beat in Division 2. They looked like one of the best teams. We saw them take down Appleton North up at the 6-0, or no, not Appleton North, excuse me. I'm drawing a blank on the game they played at the 608 tournament that you and I called. But they were at the 608 tournament, and they looked awesome. They played incredibly well.
They had Mount Horeb.
That was 608. I knew it was another good team.
And I got to see them play twice at the Wisconsin Basketball Yearbook Mark Miller's tournament. And again, I just like the way they played as a team and individual talent. And Jack Conan, right? He was basically playing like a point forward, running. He was trying to get everybody really involved. So I thought, as much as the emphasis is on him, I thought that was a real good team coming in. And all of a sudden you look up, it's 18-7.
Yep, and then Whitefish Bay ran away with it, 77-46. They ended on an 11-0 run in this game, and they shot lights out. They were 6 of 11 from 3, 62% from the field, and they held Slinger to just 28% from the field in this game. It was an awesome defensive performance. It was an incredible offensive performance for Whitefish Bay. The first 2 times Slinger won this matchup during the regular season, but then when it counted the most, Whitefish Bay got the win, 77-46 to win the gold ball. And then finally, Division I, Wisconsin Lutheran 57, Madison Memorial 37 in the Division I championship game. And this was a game at the half. Memorial had a 2-point lead, surprising everybody. I mean, I said, like, there might be some magic in Madison with the way that Memorial was playing in that first half.
You know what game that was like?
Which one?
Slinger and McFarland.
Oh, yeah.
McFarland went at halftime with a 2-point lead. Slinger came out and didn't look back, and everything that McFarland tried went awry. And it was the same thing. A big run for Wisconsin Lutheran and Madison Memorial. It was just, they needed the 3-point shots. They needed not to turn the ball over, empty possessions, and it was like everything they were doing correctly for a game and a half disappeared. And that happens at state.
Yep, and I mean, they turned the ball over 8 times total in the game, but it was just the points off.
Of it.
Yep, it was bad timing for them. They got out-rebounded, which is the big thing that Steve Collins emphasized all year with his team. They were -5 in the rebounding category. Points in the paint, Wisconsin Lutheran dominated 34-14. It was just everything in the second half that could go wrong for Memorial did go wrong, and they just couldn't get anything going in that second half. They were taking the air out of the ball. They limited the possessions. They did what they needed to. Anthony Miller was hitting threes in the first half, and then they just didn't fall in the second half after shooting 71% in their semifinal game. And you're feeling after that game and a half, you're like, oh, man, they might do this, because you and I knew all season long that this was going, whatever game in the postseason that Memorial lost would be Steve Collins' last game as a head coach, as he was retiring as a teacher and as a head coach. And you're like, oh, man, this might be storybook. This might be it. And they just couldn't get that last half of basketball.
After they beat Verona in the sectional final, he gave me a hug. He said, Dennis, this is storybook. Mm-hmm. You look at what they've gone through, heartbreak with losing a player in the fall, to the injuries during the season. Best player, Ezra Ligon, didn't get to play at all in the stretch run in the postseason. And somehow they kept it all together, and they were there right to the edge. But Mr. Basketball showed why he was Mr. Basketball.
Absolutely,
right?
He did.
Xavier Zenz. And we got a glimpse of who may be the next Mr. Basketball. We say this every year. Wow.
Yeah.
Cager was incredible.
Yep. Cager Knipple, awesome performance for him. Xavier Zenz, 20 points. He was 8 of 9 from the field, 4 of 4 from 3.
I congratulated him afterwards. I said, yeah, you missed a shot. He goes, I missed a shot. So he goes, oh, yeah, that layup early. It seemed like everything was going in. And he rebounded. We talked at halftime. That was the key for Lutheran, get him untracked. And it wasn't that he wasn't playing well. The good players let the game come to them.
Yep.
And you get everybody involved, but eventually the winners want the ball.
Yep.
He wanted the ball in the second half. And he was able to take advantage of some of those few turnovers and convert into transition points.
Absolutely.
You remember that one, he gets the rebound and went right straight down the middle, that just sliced like knife through butter.
Yeah, he's so much at 6'7". He is so much faster than you expect him to be, and he showed it a few times in that game. And you could just tell, as great as Memorial was all year, they just didn't have the athletes to keep up with him in those spots.
He's like about 6'7". Afterwards, I see they're out with the Coach Walls in the hallway, waiting for the media, and I look and realize how small I am. I'm right next to Cager and to Xavier, going, hello, guys.
This is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. Looking back at the state tournaments that were for the boys this past weekend, the girls 2 weeks ago. We're also brought to you by TPC Wisconsin in Madison. There's no off-season for your game. Get ready for next golf season. Join today and pay no dues until April 1st. That's right, no dues until April 1st. Learn more at tpcwisconsin.com. That's tpcwisconsin.com. We talked about some of the stories from this boys state tournament. When we come back, we are going to give our top stories from this state tournament and what we learned about the state of basketball in Wisconsin. That's coming up next on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly.
You're listening to Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, breaking down more from this week in area high school sports next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
At Hooper Service, your comfort is important. From keeping you cozy warm to comfy cool with the ultra-quiet, energy-efficient Carrier Infinity Home Comfort System. Plus, join our Home Comfort Priority Plan and keep your air conditioner and furnace running at peak performance year after year. Enjoy priority service and extra savings that really add up. Hooper is here with 24-hour heating, cooling, plumbing, and fire protection service for your home and business. Turn to the experts, Carrier and Hooper.
Join Stoughton Health Ortho Team Clinic's Dr. Ashish Raval for a free online event on knee ACL healing. Wednesday, April 8th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Dr. Raval will explain how ACL injuries occur, symptoms to look for, and the latest innovative treatments that support better knee recovery. This session is great for athletes, active adults, parents, and anyone wanting to better understand knee health after an ACL injury. Register today at stoughtonhealth.com under classes and events.
Looking to take your baseball game to the next level? GRB Academy provides year-round training programs designed around your schedule and your goals. For over 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's leader in player development and advancement with a state-of-the-art 52,000 square foot facility of elite baseball training space and coaches who know how to get results. From youth to high school, baseball players trust GRB to help them reach their next level. Training program spots are filling quickly, so don't wait. Register now at grbacademy.com.
It's bracket season, and Pizza Hut's got the watch party covered. Score a large 3-topping pizza for just $10. Try it on Pizza Hut's new hand-tossed crust. Crispy and golden on the outside, soft and fluffy on the inside, and finished with garlic parm seasoning for that classic pizzeria vibe. Or get the original pan, thin and crispy, or Chicago Tavern style. Big flavor, big savings. Just $10. Your bracket might not survive, but this deal will win it all. Order today at pizzahut.com or on the Pizza Hut app. Pizza Hut, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
I wasn't sure if I could afford college, and my family couldn't help me. But I'm so glad I didn't let that stop me. At Madison College, I found financial support beyond tuition. Even fuel, transportation, and technology has been covered. It's incredible that I'll be able to graduate debt-free. My advice to others, don't let financial barriers stop you. There's more to your story at Madison College.
Visit madisoncollege.edu to get started.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? For a limited time at Zimbrick Honda, you can buy 3 tires and get the 4th for only $1. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Everyone plays like a champion at TPC Wisconsin. Our friendly community shares one thing: a passion for world-class golf. Women, men, and youth golfers all love the course. The $25 million upgrade is impeccable, and the list of amenities is more than impressive. But belonging where the shared pursuit of excellence is a daily practice and not just a tagline? That might be the best part. Join today and pay no dues until April 1st. Discover belonging. TPCWisconsin.com.
This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPNWisconsin.com.
Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly continues on. I'm Hunter Vaughn. Alongside me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Sumrow. It's bracket season, and Pizza Hut's got your watch party covered. Grab a large 3-topping pizza for just $10. Try the new hand-tossed crust, crispy outside, soft inside, finished with garlic parm seasoning. Order now at pizzahut.com or on the Pizza Hut app. Dennis, Pizza Hut, No one out-pizzas the Hut. We're now transitioning, still looking back at the boys' state tournament, but there were a ton of things that we learned, a ton of stories that we had throughout this state tournament. So as a PrepMania team, myself, Hunter Vaughn, along with the Dean, Dennis Summerow, and our producer, Owen Dimful, we're going to go through and we're going to give our 3 biggest stories or things that we learned from this state tournament. So we're going to kick it off starting at number 3. I'll get us going here so people kind of get an idea. And my number 3 story, I had to start with it. Steve Collins announcing his retirement after that Division I championship loss to Wisconsin Lutheran. 519 career wins, 3 gold balls, now 5 silver balls. So he's played in 8 championship games in his career. Dennis, you and I knew basically at the start of the school year that this was going to happen, but he wanted this to be about the kids. And to his credit and everyone's credit over at Memorial, they did an awesome job of making it about the kids and not making this being his last ride and kind of that farewell tour the way that, as much as I love Duke basketball, Coach K did and kind of made it about him. It was about the kids and his players the entire way.
Yeah, I did a profile back in September, and the administrator that was their assistant principal made a comment about Steve. He said, "Oh yeah, he's done.
Mm-hmm.
He's retiring from teaching. He's going to step down." I go, "Has he said anything?" He goes, "Well, he wants to keep it off on the kids."
Yep.
And then I ran into his mom at a Madison Sports Hall of Fame luncheon.
Mm-hmm.
She's there at all of them. She's wonderful. And she said, "Dennis, don't say anything with Steve's last year."
Yep.
I said, "Are you sure?" He goes, "Well, he's stepping down from teaching, and that's it.
Yeah.
He thinks it's time, and this could be it with the team." And then I finally got around to asking him. We were playing some phone tag, and he goes, "Well, I'm not making this public, right now. Don't say anything." And I want to keep it on the kids. And then when they beat Verona, and we're standing behind the scores table at Sun Prairie West, came up and we're talking. He looks at me and gave me a hug, and he goes, "This is a storybook. This is the way I wanted it to end.
Yep.
I'm going to finish it at state." And like with Pat Rice, who was pretty emotional when he stepped down a couple of years ago, I had covered either as a statistician or in radio every one of Steve's state championships and runner-up teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there with the late Bruce Dahman was the principal, great coach, and Jerron Maiman the year that Jerron told Rob Hernandez and me after his junior year, "I'm going to win state next year," and Steve went ballistic. "What did you say that to the media for?" And Jerron backed it up the next year.
Yep.
And I look at watching him coach his son Drew on the bench, which was phenomenal. And he ended up profiling Drew. And a little side story: we finally got Drew his plaque a couple of years down the road. Found out that it had never been delivered, which he thought was a key. So, and I'm a big numbers guy. I love math and stats. And he's been a stats teacher for a long time.
Yep.
And my thought has always been the best job is a teacher coach. The best coaches are teachers first, and that was Steve.
Absolutely.
And you look at what he's done online for the sport of basketball, won 519 games, and he could probably win another 100 games if he wanted to stick around.
Mm-hmm.
But it's time with the family, and I think he deserves time now to be able to enjoy life and do a lot of other things. But like with Pat Rice, I'm sure he's going to be consulting or coaching, and I would not be surprised to see him come back in some capacity, just because he loves the game so much.
Yeah, absolutely. It was awesome seeing his story as a coach and at the Kohl Center where it deserved to be, because I talked about it when you and I called that game.
Well,
I mean, I went through his first championship was 2005 with Memorial. So I was in middle school. I mean, I grew up getting to love high school basketball just as a general fan of the sport, watching his teams playing at the Kohl Center. Like, a part of what the type of person I am and why I love high school sports so much, I don't know if it happens to the same degree if it weren't for getting to watch Wesley Matthews and Vander Blue playing at the Kohl Center. So a part of his story, like my story, wouldn't have happened if it weren't for Steve Collins. So I was so thrilled that at least he got to end his career there at the Kohl Center.
Well, obviously you know where that is for me. So do I talk about it now or do I wait? It's not number 3.
We'll wait. So
okay.
Owen,
number 3.
Yep. what was your number 3?
My number 3 is watch out for Slinger next year. You guys talked about it, how they were one of the best teams in Division II all season long. They beat Whitefish Bay 2 times in the regular season, but they cannot get it done the 3rd time in the state title game. I think this team is primed to go on a run next year, and they're going to be out for blood. Just the way that they lost that game, you have a interconference rivalry, and they're going to be good too. So I think that'll be very exciting series to watch for next season.
Yeah, we're going to be paying attention to the North Shore Conference, and it's so interesting you bring that up, Owen, because I genuinely think a lot of times in this sport you need to lose one before you can win one. You have to get there, especially for a team that isn't regularly there like Slinger. You have to see what that's like first, and then you can go on. Like the Bucks wouldn't have won that title in 2021 had they not had that loss to Toronto in 2019. I ignore the COVID season. That didn't happen. So that loss to the Raptors is what set them up for that championship run, and I think that's what we're going to see from Slinger. I love that call from you. Dennis, what was your number 3?
Well, my number 3 are the teams that got their first chance to get there, and Reedsville first time in 82 years.
Mm-hmm.
They were the smallest school, and they posted up on the message board, smallest school to win a state championship.
Yep, that 46 championship. They had a population of 416, I think it was. It was literally Hoosiers.
Right, and that was the one division back then. So you had Appleton North making their first trip. And who did they draw? Wisconsin and Lutheran. And they took them them right there to the end. Played a great game. Then you get the matchup of Cambridge and Milwaukee Lutheran both making it for the first time. And Cambridge, the special community, just down 12-18 from here.
Yep.
And they made it, and they gave Juneau everything they could handle.
Yep.
It was a couple of dunks at the end. You could see the athleticism kind of pulled away, but they were there. And then was it one more? Do we have one more in there? It was Lutheran. Those two, I think. Oh, and then the Reedsville making it back. I think you look at the attendance. When I looked over the Reedsville fans, it was like a student section for Badger game, all 3 levels, all the way to the top.
Yep.
And that is phenomenal. And I remember I leaned over, I was on the scores table, and they had somebody actually doing a book. Not everybody does a book anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they had somebody there with a scorebook, and I said, last person, turn out the lights. Pretty much so. That's what we wanted. So they had to leave somebody back to guard to make sure they don't get robbed when they're gone. But it brings back memories of Barneveld.
Yep.
Barneveld making it there, and Pecatonica, Blanchardville. So it was great.
Yeah, of course. Owen, our Barneveld alumni, likes that you dropped that reference. My number 2 storyline coming from state was, again, I talked about this in the first segment, an MPS school, a Milwaukee public school, winning a title. The first time in 22 years, an MPS school winning a title with the Division IV championship for Milwaukee Juneau. I am a huge advocate for the city schools, whether that is the city conference in Milwaukee or then the 4 city conference schools or the Big 8 schools that are in the city here in Madison. Seeing good basketball coming from the city of Milwaukee itself with these public schools, or then having Memorial there as well for the Madison side, I think should not be overlooked. I think this Milwaukee Juneau team, if these guys don't go the prep route, because a number of them are Division I talent guys, we could see Juneau coming back to a championship game, and I would love to see that get a back-to-back or get more Milwaukee public school programs to get to the Kohl Center again. Owen, as we're going through our top storylines, what's your number 2 storyline?
My number 2 is the Wisconsin Lutheran Dynasty.
That's number 2.
That's number 2. The three-peat is phenomenal. First since Pewaukee, I believe, 2021 to 2023. The talk is, how many can they get? It's not. It's the ceiling is the limit for them, and can they challenge Randolph for 4? Likely. Can they challenge Dominican for 5? Can they exceed Dominican and get to that 6 spot?
So I was just going to ask you guys that, and I'm going to make you say how many in a row you think that they can get. They've already got 3 in a row. But for people that don't know, the Knipples next year, it will be Cager Knipple as a senior, Kinston Knipple as a junior, Cash Knipple will be a sophomore, and Kidman will be a freshman. They are going to have all four of Con Knipples NBA probably Rookie of the Year, Con Knippel's younger brothers, playing on the same team. How many in a row do you think they get, Dennis? They already got 3, so
they could do 3 more. They could do next year and the year after, but it's putting a lot of pressure on the 2 youngest ones.
Yep.
But
from what I've heard, and this is again just from people who follow Wisconsin Lutheran, Kidman and Cash apparently are the 2 best basketball players.
Well, I go back to the Flowers brothers, all 5 at Madison La Follette. And who was the best? Michael, who played for the Badgers. Jonte was my favorite. He won 2 titles at Winona State. And he could have played football or basketball. He was kind of a tweener why he didn't get recruited by Wisconsin. But Michael ended up playing here as the baby. Something about the youngest ones, they get beat on.
Yep.
They learn the lessons. They got things in place that the older ones didn't get. So I think they could do it. I mean, I was around for the Randolph and the Dominican ones. So I think they could get 6. I'd go 6. I don't know about breaking it.
Owen, how many do you think?
I think they go 5. I think they'll tie Dominican, but once you get to that 5th, and then as you go for the 6th in a row, I think the pressure will just break.
But here's a question for you too. They're in Division 1. Is it fair to keep them in Division 1?
They
are a Division 2 school. Do you say, okay, you've been in Division 1 now for 3-4 years, we're going to put you back in 2? And then Division 2 goes, thanks a lot. And Division 1 breathes, hey, somebody else has got a chance now.
Well, and I think there's one thing. It's different if you're going for a perfect season, which they did. And this was the second time that they went 30-0. I think that's one piece of history that there's a lot of pressure there. You and I talked about that on the broadcast. But to have the all-time consecutive record of state championships, that is a whole different level of pressure for them. So that's an interesting point, Owen. That's where I think for sure they're going to get 5. That 6th one, though, is where I start to question it because of the historic level of pressure.
Well,
they do that, and they're the greatest high school basketball program ever in the state's history.
The thing that's interesting is they don't care about wins to the point
they don't.
His schedule's tough.
Yep.
There was no, he didn't expect to go 30-0 this year with the schedule they put him. They played in the tournament in South Carolina. Maybe they lose that championship game. Zenz doesn't hit the 3-pointer. They lose it. So they end up 29-1 this year. That's all that matters is they are playing their best basketball at the end of the year and every game. And I asked for the 3 keys. We know what good basketball looks like. Just play it. Or as my favorite line from Miracle, play your game. And they know what their game is.
Dennis, what's your number 2 storyline out of this state tournament?
My number 2 is Wisconsin Lutheran. It's the family effect. You realize not just the brothers, but Xavier Zenza is a cousin.
Yep.
Okay? And then you look back to family ties. Ryan Walls, the head coach, said the family's won state titles. The only actual one to win as a player was Ryan's sister. So you look back that the head coach Riley's a starter on the team. Ryan's brother Justin, an alum, is the JV coach. Jason is the girls' coach at Kettle Moraine. Micah is the athletic director. Grandfather Dale is a retired vice principal coach. He's in the Hall of Fame. You look at the family, just that. And then with the Knippels, that is a family. And the point that people talk about recruiting, all these kids there in the program come through their Lutheran program.
Yep.
They're not getting a kid from
they're not getting some sophomore
Appleton,
that comes
in. Whatever, recruiting.
Yep.
It's the same thing like Wisconsin, Lakeside Lutheran. It's a Lutheran school, so that is their feeder system. Edgewood gets that about recruiting. Well, they recruit the Catholic schools.
Yep.
That's their feeder system of the Catholic schools. Yeah, maybe they'll get some public school kids. Anna Miller, whose brothers at Memorial, could she be at Memorial? No, they wanted her at Edgewood, which is great. But no, this is a family atmosphere. And that's what they build on.
Absolutely. I'm going to save my number 1 for last. Owen, what was your number 1 storyline?
Keeping it quick, Steve Collins.
Yep.
One tremendous coach going out at the state tournament. Like you guys have said, storybook ending for him. And the biggest thing was that I remember walking out of Middleton High School, UNI Hunter, when Memorial lost to Middleton and they had to share the Big 8 conference title. And we were saying how we were both concerned for Memorial heading into the tournament. And just given the adversity of not having one of the Liggins brothers. I believe Ezra was the one that was out. And that didn't bother them. They just went on a run. They beat some really good teams along the way, and they made it to the state title game with a silver ball. An outstanding finish, and an outstanding finish for a tremendous coach.
Yeah, it was storybook for them. Dennis, what was your number one story?
Obviously, Madison Memorial, and it goes just my ties with Steve over the years. And we got to throw a shout out to Anthony Miller setting the record for 3-pointers. If he doesn't hit those, they're not in the championship game.
Yeah, they don't beat the Pier.
And they're not in the game at halftime.
Yep.
And we saw those from up in the second level, the Kohl Center. They were pure, they were quick, and it was like a sniper.
Yep.
And that was, again, one of those things. I love Steve's comment. He said a number of times at press conferences, if my guys showed up as a team for pickup basketball, they wouldn't get picked by most of the guys out there to go out and play on the court because his best athletes are baseball players. The Liggins brothers are going to Bradley to play baseball. There's your Bradley shout out.
Now we get another shout out for Owen Dimple, his alma mater.
There we go. Okay.
And then my final one, the shot clock. You knew I had to go here with this, guys. Milwaukee Juneau, as great as that performance was, as great as they are as a team, as much as I love the fact that an MPS school won a state title for the first time in 22 years, they had a possession that was 2 minutes and 35 seconds of game time, and they just held the ball because they could. Sure, can Cambridge go out and have to defend them? Yeah, but you know what's going to happen? They're going to get dunked on because Cambridge didn't have the athletes to defend them one-on-one. So you can't sit there and say like, oh yeah, just go out there and defend them. Great. Then all of a sudden they're going to lose by 50 points. They kind of have to sit back a little bit on defense. And then we saw it in the D1 title game. Memorial, they were running their offense, but Steve Collins said it to us. He's going to make the entire state call for a shot clock. I'm doing it right now. We need to get a shot clock. We got to figure out a solution here. Even if it's Division II and Division I have to do it, and then the lower divisions, it's optional. I don't care what it is. We got to start figuring something out because we can't have the state and Wisconsin high school basketball make the news because of the lack of a shot clock. I want this state making the news because we have guys like Kadra Knipple and Xavier Zenz who are going to go and play in the NBA, and Dooney Johnson doing awesome stuff at the Kohl Center and just hitting ridiculous shots and winning championships, and that's why we're in the news. I don't want the shot clock in the news anymore. Just let's get a shot clock. Let's figure it out. Figure out a way for the smaller schools to pay for it. I don't care. I just want a shot clock.
Well, number one, the WBCA, which I'm a part of, I think we need, and I talked to Stephanie Hauser about this, needs to come out with a proposal to make it an option for, if both schools agree to it, they can play non-conference games and tournament games to get it going out there. And then to make that proposal down the road. You don't want to put a date on it now. It's going to have to, get approved.
There's bureaucracy that has to go through.
And then once it gets through, it's got to be voted on at the annual meeting in April.
By the members.
And then it's got to be a full year afterwards to get it implemented. So, but I think the first thing is just to get it going. And there's a number of schools. Stephanie said, Spash, she had it put in 20 years ago. They got the shot clocks. The question is, do you want it in varsity only? Do you want it in JV? How many do you want to have it? Just get it 2 shot clocks.
That's the thing. I don't care. I need it in there. I'm tired of it. We need to have the shot clock happen. We're way behind on time here, Dennis. I got going about the shot clock. I did it to myself. But this is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. Zimbrick Honda has been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973. They're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether you're looking for a sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none. Browse their car selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local, shop Zimbrick Honda. We will quickly recap the 2 area teams from the girls' state tournament that played 2 weeks ago up in Green Bay, coming up next on Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly.
More of Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly coming up next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Everyone plays like a champion at TPC Wisconsin. Our friendly community shares one thing: a passion for world-class golf. Women, men, and youth golfers all love the course. The $25 million upgrade is impeccable, and the list of amenities is more than impressive. But belonging where the shared pursuit of excellence is a daily practice and not just a tagline? That might be the best part. Join today and pay no dues until April 1st. Discover belonging. TPCWisconsin.com.
It's bracket season, and Pizza Hut's got the watch party covered. Score a large 3-topping pizza for just $10. Try it on Pizza Hut's new hand-tossed crust. Crispy and golden on the outside, soft and fluffy on the inside, and finished with garlic parm seasoning for that classic pizzeria vibe. Or get the original pan, thin and crispy, or Chicago Tavern style. Big flavor, big savings. Just $10. Your bracket might not survive, but this deal will win it all. Order today at pizzahut.com or on the Pizza Hut app. Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Looking to take your baseball game to the next level? GRB Academy provides year-round training programs designed around your schedule and your goals. For over 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's leader in player development and advancement with a state-of-the-art 52,000 square foot facility of elite baseball training space and coaches who know how to get results. From youth to high school, baseball players trust GRB to help them reach their next level. Training program spots are filling quickly, so don't wait. Register now at grbacademy.com.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
I worried that I couldn't work a full-time job and still have time for college. But I'm so glad I didn't let that stop me. At Madison College, I found my stride. My classes are flexible and hands-on, and I walk on campus feeling inspired. My advice to others? Make your dreams a reality. There's more to your story at Madison College.
Visit madisoncollege.edu to get started.
When you or a loved one are faced with an unexpected injury or illness, Stoughton Health's urgent care is there for you. Stoughton Health has 4 convenient urgent care locations for the care you need without the wait. We have urgent care locations in Stoughton, Oregon, McFarland, and Cottage Grove with extended hours to fit your schedule. Stoughton Health accepts over 160 insurances, including Dean Health Plan, Quartz, Humana, and more. Please visit stoughtonhealth.com for more information. Stoughton Health, creating excellence together.
This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPNWisconsin.com.
Continuing on with Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly. Madison College has been around for over 100 years right here in our community. They've grown to 7 campuses all across South Central Wisconsin, including 3 in Madison. Whether you're starting fresh or leveling up your career, Madison College is here for you. Learn more at madisoncollege.edu. That's madisoncollege.edu. Dennis, we saw some area teams playing in some championship games for the girls basketball side of things. What were those games 2 weeks ago up at the Resch Center?
Well, you had Beaver Dam in Division 2. They ended up knocking off top-seeded Rice Lake, which was pretty huge. Star for them was Natalia Donaldson. She had 25 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists in that game against Rice Lake. And she ended up with 14 points and 13 rebounds in the championship game. Whitefish Bay, okay, they won the boys. Well, they started off by winning the girls. Whitefish Bay was 64, Beaver Dam 63, finished 23-7, an awesome year. And then we have Albany Monticello ended up making the finals in Division 4. They lost to number 1 Neillsville 43-40, and they had an outstanding season overall. And I got a shout out to Barneveld, who lost in the semifinals to Pacelli 49-40. Jim Myers is back, and they've got another state title, I think, down the road coming. He's just been an incredible coach.
Yep.
Was I think all-time winningest coach now for girls.
Wow, it was great seeing a bunch of area teams making it to the state tournament, and I can't talk about the girls' state tournament without talking about that championship game in Division I. Arrowhead, Wauwatosa East, double overtime thriller. Arrowhead winning it 80-74. That was such an entertaining game.
Right, and Natalie Cuso showed why she was Miss Basketball. We talked about Xavier Zenz. She did not touch the ball at the end of the regulation and first overtime. Second overtime, she said, forget it. She took over. She ended up with, I think, 26 points, 9 rebounds. She had 11 points in the 2 overtime periods, 8 in the second. That's putting the team on your back. And we said last year coming into the year, she was probably the favorite for that award, and it was a pretty close contest. She ended up losing to Liska from Tosa East. Micaiah, she gave it her all, and she showed why she was a finalist for Miss Basketball as well. So that was a great game.
And Arrowhead, the one actual enrollment Division I program in that state tournament.
Notre Dame, Pewaukee, and East were all East had won Division II a year ago. Who did they beat?
Edgewood.
In triple overtime. That's right.
So East just can't get away from those overtime games at the Resch Center for the girls' side. That's the girls' state tournament. We're going to wrap up the show next, as we'll be just getting some final thoughts on the basketball season. Plus, we're going to be teasing something exciting for the spring, so you don't want to miss that. If you're interested in getting the highest level of coaching for the baseball player in your life, the GRB Academy offers individual and group lessons for the players of all ages and skill levels. Visit GRB Academy for more information. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player. We'll wrap up the show next, as this is Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly.
You're listening to Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, breaking down more from this week in area high school sports next on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Join Stoughton Health Ortho Team Clinic's Dr. Ashish Raval for a free online event on knee ACL healing. Wednesday, April 8th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Dr. Raval will explain how ACL injuries occur, symptoms to look for, and the latest innovative treatments that support better knee recovery. This session is great for athletes, active adults, parents, and anyone wanting to better understand knee health after an ACL injury. Register today at stoughtonhealth.com under classes and events.
At Hooper Service, your comfort is important. From keeping you cozy warm to comfy cool with the ultra-quiet, energy-efficient Carrier Infinity Home Comfort System. Plus, join our Home Comfort Priority Plan and keep your air conditioner and furnace running at peak performance year after year. Enjoy priority service and extra savings that really add up. Hooper is here with 24-hour heating, cooling, plumbing, and fire protection service for your home and business. Turn to the experts, Carrier and Hooper.
It's bracket season, and Pizza Hut's got the watch party covered. Score a large 3-topping pizza for just $10. Try it on Pizza Hut's new hand-tossed crust. Crispy and golden on the outside, soft and fluffy on the inside, and finished with garlic parm seasoning for that classic pizzeria vibe. Or get the original pan, thin and crispy, or Chicago Tavern style. Big flavor, big savings. Just $10. Your bracket might not survive, but this deal will win it all. Order today at pizzahut.com or on the Pizza Hut app. Pizza Hut, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Zimbrick Honda has been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973. They're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether you're looking for a sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none. Stop in today at their location on Fish Hatchery Road and check out their full lineup of vehicles and find the one that's right for you, or browse their vehicle selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. That's ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local, shop Zimbrick Honda.
I worried about choosing the right two-year college where credits would transfer to UW, but I figured out a great path. At Madison College, I'm in the STEM program. The classrooms are intimate, instructors are engaging, and best of all, I'll be able to transfer to UW debt-free. My advice to others, start your journey here. You won't regret it. There's more to your story at Madison College.
Visit madisoncollege.edu to get started.
Looking to take your baseball game to the next level? GRB Academy provides year-round training programs designed around your schedule and your goals. For over 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's leader in player development and advancement with a state-of-the-art 52,000 square foot facility of elite baseball training space and coaches who know how to get results. From youth to high school, baseball players trust GRB to help them reach their next level. Training program spots are filling quickly, so don't wait. Register now at grbacademy.com.
This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPNWisconsin.com.
Wrapping up Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly, Zimbrick Honda's been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973. They're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether you're looking for a sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none. Browse their car selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local, shop Zimbrick Honda. Dennis, we've got a little bit over a minute left to go in the show tonight. Real quick, as we wrap up the basketball season, looking quickly ahead to next year, what's one team that you're like, this is a team to watch out for?
One boys team, McFarland. They made it to state this year with juniors, only one senior. Look for them. Madison LaFollette girls. Naya Riak, she had her first dunk this year.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see one next year, I'm sure.
Yep, absolutely. With her and Ende Cham, that team is going to be formidable for sure. We're going ahead now to the spring season. We're going to be off for 2 weeks. We're going to take a little bit of a post-basketball season sabbatical, but when we come back, we're going to be talking baseball, softball, track, girls soccer, and little tease, we've been contacting some schools, reaching out, getting some approvals. We're going to be doing baseball games this year on ESPN Madison for high school baseball. We'll have that on the absolutely. We're going to have some baseball games on.
Been waiting 11 years for this.
Exactly. We're going to have some games of the week, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that. As again, we are going to have baseball games on the ESPN Wisconsin app, the ESPN Madison YouTube channel streaming. Maybe we get some on the radio, but you're going to want to stay tuned for that. We'll be off for 2 weeks. When we come back, it is baseball and softball season. This has been Zimbrick Honda's PrepMania Weekly on ESPN Madison.
I love being an orthopedic surgeon because I can help people improve their lives. My name is Ashish Raval. I'm an orthopedic surgeon at Stoughton Hospital and the Ortho Team Clinic.